Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Sports Talk with Brodes. The New York Knicks suck. It's that simple. They are embarrassing. They are a pathetic franchise. They are abysmal to watch. They have no talent whatsoever. And I know they brought in Tibbs to be this new identity and to switch the culture, but you have nobody. Your players are irrelevant. Let's be realistic. So, I'm not taking anything away from what the 76ers did because I think it's important to get run, to work on sets, to find each other's spots, to get rhythm offensively, to get the three-point shooting going from these starters, specifically Seth Curry and Danny Green. So I think it's very important. I don't give a damn who they're playing against right now. I want to see them learn one another and create the identity of what this basketball team is going to be. But let's be fair. The Knicks are such garbage. Peyton going 0 for. RJ Barrett starting out 0 for 9. Now, I'm going to give Ben Simmons a ton of credit because he was lethal defensively. He was swarming RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett is clearly not accustomed to going up against a guy who's 6'10". Ben Simmons was all over the place, changing the outcome of the game. You can't deny it. Ben was that great. But I also think that backcourt is that bad as well. And I know RJ Barrett's coming off of a nice performance, but I'm not overwhelmed with who he is. I'm not overwhelmed with his skill set. Not to take away from Ben, he's great. But it's a combination of what Ben does so well and the Knicks being the Knicks. That's okay, though. It's okay to recognize both. Don't come after me. Now, we are broadcasting live, as always, from the Manscaped Man Cave. You get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. So, where shall we begin? You want to start with Joel Embiid? Fine. I think that's a good spot. So he scores 20 points in the first half. I thought he was going to go for 40, I'm not going to lie. I thought it would be one of those games where afterwards we look at the box score and Joel Embiid had 40 plus, grabbed 18 boards, and dominated every single player that came in his way. Well, the second half wasn't as lethal for him. He picked up some garbage at the offensive side of the glass, had some nice run that way. He only scored 7 points in the second half. He finished with 27, but let's be realistic. His presence was huge early on. Get him the ball, and even Doc Rivers stated this after the game. The other day when they played their first game of the season, you surrounded Joel Embiid with a bunch of shooting, and it worked. Tonight, not necessarily the case, but you still went through Joel Embiid and had more cutting, had more slashing, and it was still very effective. His point? You can do it in many different ways. It doesn't just have to be one way. Okay, we need a bucket and B, what are you going to do? No. It doesn't have to be as simple as let's just put shooters around him, and that's the only way you can get going. You can do it in other ways. He praised Ben and Joel together and said, you want to know why? Tobias, why Danny Green, why Seth Curry had some of the moments that they had? Well, because Ben and Joel created those opportunities for everybody else. And that's what your star players do. They generate great pace, they generate great rhythm, and that allows some of your lesser players, your role players, your other starters to get going in certain points of the game. And Seth Curry in the third quarter was very big, knocking down shots. You want to talk about being efficient? He finished with 17 points, 3 threes on 8 field goal attempts. I did get nervous because late in the game, he ended up banging his shoulders. I believe it was with Bullock, and he kept grimacing. He kept playing around with it, moving it in circles. I thought there would be a moment where he would leave the game, just go to the bench. Why risk anything? He's in discomfort. You can tell by his face and you can tell by his body language something was annoying him. I figured he'd go to the bench at some point, but Doc Rivers kept him in the game. And also, I say that because there's a back-to-back. You want to make sure that he can be available for tomorrow if it wasn't anything significant. He did talk to Mark Zumoff post-game, though, during an interview, and he made it seem like he would be okay and it was nothing crazy. But still, I mean, at that time, let's be realistic. When you saw him on the replay and during his raw, natural reaction, there was some sort of feeling in my stomach that left me uncomfortable. He was awesome, though. In that third quarter, so much ball movement. Danny Green had a big three-pointer down that part of the game as well. So much ball movement. Bang, 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 bang. Everyone touching the ball, getting open looks. And here's the most important thing, executing and knocking the shots down. Doc Rivers was asked about the half-court sets and asked about this offense, and he said he liked it. He liked what he saw. He's not too worried about shots not falling. It's about getting the open looks. If you get the looks you want, they're going to fall at some point. So as long as you're creating the opportunities that you are thrilled with, that's what you live with. He feels that his players will get the job done. If you consistently get those chances, you will knock them down. I got to look at the other side, though, too, and say, man, they are bad. Awful. It's so atrocious. I couldn't imagine sitting through that slop. I know the Sixers went through that slop, but there was an end result, and they actually got to the end result. The Knicks are so trash, they can't even find a way out of this mess to eventually land themselves the Joel Embiid'S or the Ben Simmons. So the Sixers had this game plan, and they executed it. You saw the blueprints. The Knicks, they throw out that they have a blueprint, but they can't do it. They can't. This is the same over and over and over again. I'm starting to get to the point where I feel bad for the fans of the New York Knicks. It's been going on long enough. Figure it the hell out, really. I mean, even from a personal side of things, I don't want to turn on the TV and sit through that slop. I want it to be competitive. I don't want to be leaned back in the recliner, yawning, drinking my coffee. No, I want to be on the edge of my seat, fired up, spitting on the TV. So just from my personal experience, be better so my experience is better. But I digress. Some of the other players. Tobias Harris. He started out slow, defensively miserable. I talked about how poor the backcourt was, and Peyton and RJ Barrett. Well, how about what's his name ended up having? Why am I drawing a blank? Come on now. Julius Randle. Started out red hot, 4 for 4, 9 points. Tobias Harris offensively struggling as well. He eventually got more into his style of play, knocking down shots, finished with 17 points, and his defense did pick up as well. I thought his intensity on the defensive side of the ball definitely improved. He was biting on pump fakes, on shot fakes, getting a foul. He was getting waxed. Things definitely bled into this performance that we saw in the first one, but as the game progressed, he started to get his feet planted. He started to get active defensively, which led into having more confidence offensively, and his first bucket to really get himself in the groove was simple. It was him going up the floor and getting a nice, easy little layup. Sometimes all it takes is getting a nice, simple basket. That starts the flow of things. That eases your mind, seeing the ball go through the basket. That's why when you're at the charity stripe, a lot of people say, hey, just see the ball go through the hoop. Hopefully from there, that'll transition into you finding your offensive game. Now, speaking of free throws, Ben Simmons, he finished 6 of 8 from the charity stripe. I need more. That's right. I'm sorry. Excuse me. 5 for 8 from the charity stripe. I need more. I need better. He essentially went 1 for 2 every time he went, except for the last time. I need more. And I thought he really did change the game with how his efforts were on the backside of the court. What I mean by that is the defense, of course. But there were moments where I want more offensively. Now, I understand that he had a dominating performance. I'm not one of those that don't recognize how he had his fingerprints on this game. For as great as Embiid was with 27 points offensively, Ben was so crucial and so important to the outcome of this game on the other side. There's just no denying it. He was special and sensational when it comes to the closeouts, a perimeter block from three, leading to a Seth Curry three. He was all over the map, and he was dominating an entire space of the court. He was all over, suffocating. So it was great. But there were times where I wanted more offensively. Fourth quarter, he had a different mindset, and he attacked the basket, and he went strong to the hoop, and it did seem like a switch definitely flipped later on. But there was about 2 minutes or so left in the first half, and he had 3 field goal attempts, 1 for 3 with 3 points, and didn't do strong from the line at that point. I'm thinking, dude, you gotta be more effective offensively. You are so unreal, and you have an unbelievable body frame. Keep attacking. Who's gonna stop you, Ben? Please tell me on the other side with those horrendous jerseys on, and they can't even get it right. They got Bullock wearing number 23 on one side of his jersey, 25 on the other. They can't figure anything out. That's how bad their organization really is. But Ben, who's going to stop you? I want more offensively. Now, as the game finished off, I look at the stat line after, and I'm cool with it. But still, I mean, it takes you halfway through the game. He ended up getting a putback dunk at that 2-minute mark in the first half, where there was 2 minutes left in the first half, and that essentially started the difference for his game. But I remember looking, I'm thinking, 3 field goals, Ben? In one half against this sloppy team? What? I'm not out of line to want more. I'm in line. I really am. Some people think I'm crazy, though, for wanting more. No. It's fair to want more out of him. We know what he brings to the table, but we also know what he needs to add to the table as well. There was that 14-0 run in the second quarter, which definitely exploded this team. I think it went from 14-0 to a 16-2 run. The Knicks made a little bit of noise, but that spurt in the second quarter where the Sixers offense took off. And last game, it was all about the bench. This game, it was all about the starters, for sure. And we'll get into the bench in just a minute. First, I want to tell you about my friends at DraftKings. The 2021 basketball season is here. The teams around the league took the offseason to retool and revamp and are ready to hit the court. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, has rolled out another one of their can't-miss offers. Trying DraftKings Sportsbook is easy, so what are you waiting for? Get in on all of the action now. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving new players 100-1 odds on any featured matchup this week. That's right, all you have to do is bet $1 on any featured matchup this week, and if your team wins, you cash a crisp $100. So download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Brodes when you sign up to get 100-1 odds on any featured matchup this week. That's code Brodes for new players to get a shot at $100 on any featured matchup this week for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Pennsylvania only. Restrictions apply. In partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, I need a nice sip of water. I'm not going to lie. My mouth's a little dry. Had a lot of coffee today. Also did a workout, and I was super dehydrated. Started getting dizzy. Realized I got to drink more water. So as I'm here with all the saliva coming into my mouth as I'm screaming about the Sixers, I just need a nice, refreshing sip of water. So give me a sec here. Beautiful. All right, there was one more starter that I didn't touch on yet that I would like to before we get to that bench. Danny Green. Not the best. He finished 2 of 6 from 3 and 2 of 6 from the field. He had the big 3 in the third quarter, but I want more out of him, and I think everybody wants more out of him, but he needs to get going a bit offensively. We saw him have a bad stretch towards the end of last season, and we all questioned, would we see the same poor stretch, or would we see a better version of Danny Green? And I just asked the question, if this is who you have, and just to be fair, this was still so worth it to get Al Horford off the book. So even if this is who you have, when you look at the length of the contract and how he's going to be a UFA and what you gave up, it's still worth it no matter what style of Danny Green you get. But if this is Danny Green, how long can you keep that in the starting lineup? And what do you have to even put in the lineup? And I keep mentioning that because I don't think Shake Milton is a guy they ever want to really implement into a starting rotation role, no matter how poorly someone's playing in the 5. It seems they are committed and attracted to him being this specific 6th-man role. And I like that. I do. I think that mentality is strong. If you have someone that can excel in that role, keep him there. That's fine. Work around that starting 5 in another way. So with Danny Green, it's starting to look a little slow, and it's starting to look repetitive to what we saw last year. It's been 2 basketball games, Brodes, all right? It's not the end of the world, totally acknowledging it, but just throwing it out there. This is now snowballing from something we saw last season. Just keep an eye on it. Keep yourself prepared on this whole narrative around Danny Green and what you should do with him if this keeps up. But until that ends up happening, if he snaps out of it, he snaps out of it. I just feel he's no way this. I feel he's no way this player all of a sudden. There's got to be more left in him. All right, the bench. Not the best, but Dwight Howard was. Dwight Howard impacted this game to an elite level. That's right. In his limited role, when he got the nod off the bench early on, energy, going to the boards, making the other team work. Nerlens Noel pissed off. Why? Because Dwight Howard's nonstop working, unafraid to bang bodies down low, throwing up shots, and then shit talking. That's right. Dwight Howard adding some vocal parts to this game. Getting at it. Talking shit. Good. Keep it up. That's what you need. You need that energy. You need that spark. And I thought Dwight Howard brought it in so many different ways. Even if he didn't necessarily grab the offensive board, he's always there. He's always active. He's always making you work as the other team. He's just nonstop attacking downhill with those old boards. Give me that. Give me the ball. I'm not done working with you yet. Type of attitude, and it's tremendous. It changes the way that bench unit can rock and roll. Now, I didn't think the bench unit had a fantastic night at the office from some of the other guys. Furkan Korkmaz, 1 for 7, turnover here, missing shots there. And I'll be honest with you, I hate him being this primary ball handler trying to set up the offense. He doesn't have that type of skill set. Can he do it once in a blue moon, maybe coming around the screen? Maybe. I hate it personally. But if you're going to do it, if it happens once in a blue moon, okay. I'll cringe the whole time, but okay. But it seems like they're forcing this on Furkan Korkmaz. It's not what he does best. Leave him to stand in the corner. Leave him just being a catch-and-shoot guy. I think you're adding too much to who he is, and that's leading to poor play. Your risk-reward, I don't see how this benefits you when you're having him operate offense at times when it slows down, half-court set, coming around screens. No. Give the ball to somebody else. Now, tonight, I didn't think anybody else really stood out to me. Shake Milton had a couple moments here and there where he made a tough bucket, but he also had a couple turnovers. I didn't think it was the strongest game out of Shake Milton. Tyrese Maxey, I think he showed you. First off, when the first bench rotation came around, he was in. When it happened in the second half, Matisse Thybulle was in. So Doc Rivers showing Matisse, hey, get out there, kid. Here's your chance. Here's your opportunity. You know you're going to have limited minutes. Earn it. Earn it. It's almost as if Doc Rivers wants to keep Matisse Thybulle engaged, saying, here you go, kid. I'm giving you that. But with Tyrese Maxey, there's some things I'm starting to notice. One, he has a phenomenal first step. If he gets the ball out by the perimeter, he can totally go right around you, and he's willing, as we all know, to attack the lane, whether there's traffic. He doesn't care. It won't really stop his mentality. He feels comfortable doing it. There are times, though, where I feel he passes up on other shots because he wants to constantly drive and he wants to constantly attack. they had some hiccups involved for Tyrese. Also had some hiccups involved for Shake Milton. I mentioned the turnovers. As a team, though, very limited in turnovers, which is fantastic, right? They only had 12 turnovers for the entire game. So from a team standpoint, I thought they did a good job keeping the ball in their possession, creating plays, not forcing things, allowing the game to come to them naturally, organically, instead of forcing a lot of issues. They just said, all right, hey, let's take what's given to us, and from there, we'll be able to score some points. And that's exactly what ended up happening. But with that bench, I did think that was a little bit of a struggle. Mike Scott ended up having some weak shots involved and not the best when it comes to his play. Dwight Howard was the star off the bench. Changed the intensity. Really. Changed the spark. The team was rejuvenated. Had some spark after he attacked the glass. I'm telling you, all over the place. It doesn't matter if he's setting a screen hard or if he's rolling to the basket or if he's just grabbing a rebound. There's something about the way that he is approaching the game that the guys love, that the guys are willing to appreciate to another level that sparks their own personal game, and it's tremendous. The fact that, one, he's getting paid how much money? That's right. Daryl Morey finding the best possible backup big man for that type of money, considering we signed Al Horford last year to this obnoxious, horrendous contract, trying to find the best big man to support Joel Embiid, and that was a disaster. The fact that this is what you're getting out of Dwight, it's amazing. It's refreshing. He is a professional from every angle possible in an NBA locker room. And I think where Joel and Ben are in this league right now, this is exactly what you need. Oh, by the way, the Sam Cassell story continues to grow. I mentioned that a few times with Ben Simmons and Sam Cassell and not believing in the hype and not getting all juiced up for what you see in practice and what you see during moments that are not a game. Well, apparently that's his job. Sam Cassell's job is Ben Simmons and working on that game. So we'll see how that continues to adapt and continues to develop. First game, I saw two shots that left me intrigued in terms of adding some sort of distant game from the basket. This game, not so much. So I stated I wanted to keep my eye on things. How many games in between will I see something that intrigues me? Will it be one every 20 games? Well, that won't be satisfying. Will it be one every 3 games? Well, then we're working in the right way, right? We're working in the right direction if that's the case. They have a back-to-back. They play the Cleveland Cavaliers tomorrow. Let's see how they respond. Now, Doc was asked about Joel Embiid and how the load management is going to work, and he gave us a coach answer. He left it up in the air, basing it off of his track record, this organization's track record, knowing that you have Dwight Howard who can definitely step in and be a factor. Well, I think you're going to see some load management for the guy. I think you're going to see some load management for Joel Embiid. So only time will tell. I don't have that information at the very moment. How about seeing a little bit of Alec Burks involved? 22 points. Got himself his buckets. He's a microwave scorer. That's what he is. Comes off the bench. Be excited for him when he gets the ball in his hands. We were thrilled last year because he didn't have anybody with that skill set. He didn't have anyone, which is absurd to think about. Like, you're in an NBA league. You have plenty of guys on your team that are talented, but you don't have a guy that can get a bucket like Alec Burks. And Alec Burks doesn't even do it at this elite pace. He does it at this bench pace where he's a nice role guy, but you don't really have that on this team. And we were so excited last year to see it throughout the bubble, and when he got going, it was fun. Well, you saw him get some jabs back towards his teammates from last season, although they got blown out, and it wasn't even that close, to be honest with you. There were moments where I thought Doc Rivers let his bench play a bit later in the game, and I think the back-to-back had a lot to do with it. He eventually brought his starters back in. I think it was around that 8-minute mark in the fourth quarter where he went back to some of his starters. He implemented Seth Curry in first, and then slowly but surely the rest of the guys came in. Then they started yanking the guys because it became a blowout once again. The Knicks cracked into it what was it? I think the big play, it wasn't even that big of a play, but sometimes what I like to do is, okay, where was there a stretch that I thought changed the direction of where the game was headed? Well, the Knicks cut it to 9. Joel Embiid got a 3 at the top of the three-point line, cashed, and that was big. That was a crucial three-pointer made. The Knicks ended up missing the next possession. I thought from there, that's where the Sixers somewhat solidified, all right, this is in our control. Let's continue to do damage. Now, after that possession, so it was Embiid 3, Knicks miss, Embiid had a wide open 3 once again in a very similar spot on the floor. He ended up missing. Now, if he hit that one, I truly would have circled it and started. That one stood out to me a bit. There were no big defining moments, but that was one that stood out to me as a mini defining moment for sure. But Ben, I thought when it came to facilitating, he made a lot of nice passes, specifically around the rim. You know how sometimes there's guys camping out in the dunker spot or underneath the basket, and he's attacking, but he'll dump it off. Instead of going up for the layoff, he'll kind of dump it off down low, and then there'll be a nice easy layup or a nice easy basket from there. I thought Ben had some nice movements, and sometimes he would just drop it off, and then there'd be a kick out for 3, and then the Sixers would take a shot from there, and that's the difference when you have the spacing. It's pretty damn simple that you see spacing on the floor changes a lot. How you can operate offensively, and the pick and rolls are very big as well. It's something that they did not do over the last handful of years with Brett Brown. Adding something so simple as the pick and roll, it gives you more opportunities, you have a lot more weapons in play, and you have versatility. I talked about how last game they ran the same action down the stretch, but there were so many different avenues that you can go. Whether it was Shake Milton not using the ball screen that Embiid set, and he went around it to the left side, so it was a fake ball screen, or they use the ball screen, they get it to Joel Embiid, or they use the ball screen, they get it to Ben Simmons, who passes it to Tobias Harris for 3. My point is they ran the same action, and they had so many possible plays off of it, you couldn't really defend it. That's what you get. And that's what you're able to do when you have guys that are respected more and have a skill set like shooting, where you need to respect it as a team that is defending. So I thought it was fun. I thought it was awesome. I wanted to see this team kind of learn one another. That's where I'm at right now. Let's learn what this team is all about. Let's learn their identity. Let's watch them learn each other, regardless who the other team is. But you can't pretend like that doesn't matter. This Knicks team's going to get blowout consistently. They don't have a true leader. I'm not a big fan of RJ Barrett. And look, he came off of a game that was reasonable before this. But at the end of the day, he's missing something in my opinion. You know, they were talking about it on the broadcast. He was the number 1 recruit at one point before the whole Zion story broke. And the big Zion, this freak from Duke and this and that. RJ Barrett was the guy before him. Well, I don't know. He's a guy. Now, there's plenty of time for him to develop and all, but to be honest with you, 1, I don't give a damn about RJ Barrett, and 2, I think he's missing a little bit of it. In terms of when you looked at him at the draft, can this guy change your franchise? I don't know if he's a franchise changer, and that would be the most Knicks thing in the world if you think about it, to get a guy who isn't a franchise changer, to be honest with you. All right, listen up, fellas. 2020 sucked. It's almost a new year, which means new balls with our sponsor, Manscaped. Manscaped is best in men's below-the-waist grooming, offering precision-engineered tools for your family jewels and helping 2 million men all over the world get rid of the hair on their balls. You got to check out their Perfect Package 3.0 that has all the right tools for the job. First, the Lawnmower 3.0. This waterproof and skin-safe trimmer will reduce nicks to your 2 best friends downstairs. The Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant and Moisturizer. You already put deodorant on your armpits. Why are you not putting deodorant on the smelliest part of your body? How about the Crop Reviver Ball Toner Spray, the Shed Travel Bag, the Manscaped Anti-Chafing Boxer Briefs? A guy with hairy balls is like the year 2020. Don't be that guy. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code BROD. Happy New Year's to your balls. I have that, by the way, and it is tremendous. Use it every damn day, nonstop. You should. too. All right, so at the end of the day, assessing this, I think Matisse Thybulle getting out there late is showing me that Doc Rivers wants to give him an opportunity to maybe earn some time to see what he can do over Tyrese Maxey. I thought Tyrese had a tougher day at the office, and he's going to make plenty of mistakes. He's going to have to adapt. He's going to have to play these games to realize what it's going to be like and what he needs to do and what he needs to work on. And, I just think you're going to see these two guys go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Right now, when I'm assessing this team, I'm trying to get in the mind of Doc Rivers. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay, let's get in the mind of him. How does he want to use Ben? How does he want to use Joel? What do you want to do with Tobias? Well, we know what he wants to do there. Keep it simple. Simplify the game. And when he does that, you seem to be getting the results. What does he want to do with this bench? What's the vision? That's all. So I'm trying to look from one all the way down the list, all the way down the bench to Matisse and Tyrese Maxey. And who's going to win that battle? How's Doc Rivers trying to figure this out? That's how I'm done. I'm trying to get into the mind of the coach. I want to hear him speak afterwards. I want to hear him speak during practice weeks and things of that nature. Hop on the Zoom call. Listen to good old Glenn. How about that, though? We don't really hear the Glenn. We thought that about the Mark Zumoff calls. There's only one Doc in Philadelphia. We were going back and forth with it. What's he going to do? Is it going to be Glenn? Is it going to be Doc? It's Doc, and I think that's more of a respect thing at this point. All right, so there you go. There you have it. The 76ers are 2-0 to start the season. Oh, big back-to-back. How's it going to play out, though, from a minute standpoint? Who's going to play? Who's going to be on a limit? Who's going to be on a restriction? What's happening with Seth Curry? Only time will tell. Before I let you out of here, though, I do need to let you know about one more sponsor that's been with me for so long. And look, I'm a new homeowner, and they have done so much for me when it comes to my new house. They have solar, which is A+. We're talking $0 electric bills. And if you need to learn more about how it works, because there's so much nonsense about, it's bad, it's this. No, it's tremendous. You can just listen to them, hear them out, let them explain it to you, and you will be blown away. So they have solar, new roofing, electrical upgrades, water purification systems, clean, healthy water for you and your family. It's insane. If you need to upgrade your home, they can do it for you. They have best-in-class workers and installers, best-in-class items and tools, best-in-class office members. All their information is down below in the description. So give them a call. Check out their information. It's just unbelievable work. I want you to go to them. I demand it. It's that simple. I demand it. All right. Thank you all so much for listening. And I will see you next time.